Every feeling exploited. The shocking way narcissists manipulate and control you. When you first met the narcissist, it probably felt like destiny. There was something magnetic about them, an instant pull that seemed almost otherworldly. They mirrored your emotions so perfectly that it felt like they truly saw you. They listened intently, laughed at all the right moments, and seemed to understand your heart in a way no one ever had. But that wasn't love, it was strategy. Psychologists call it love bombing, and it's one of the most powerful manipulation tools in a narcissist's arsenal. From the very beginning, their goal wasn't connection, it was access. Access to your mind, your empathy, and your story. While you were opening your heart, they were taking notes. Your favorite song, your fears, your childhood pain, they absorb it all like a student preparing for an exam. But the test wasn't about love. It was about control. Psychologists describe this as emotional reconnaissance, a deliberate effort to gather your most personal truths so they could later twist them into weapons. What felt like intimacy to you was, to them, information gathering. Underneath their charm lies something hollow. Narcissists live off what experts call narcissistic supply, the emotional fuel they siphon from others to keep their fragile sense of self intact. They crave admiration the way a drowning person craves air. When you gave them your affection, it fed their emptiness. When you believed in their goodness, it reinforced the illusion they were desperate to maintain. And once they were certain they had your loyalty, the transformation began. Their warmth turned conditional. The adoring gaze became cold. Suddenly, you were walking on eggshells, apologizing for things you didn't do, and questioning whether you were the problem. This is the essence of gaslighting, a psychological manipulation that erodes your sense of reality until you begin to doubt your own perception. Every time you cried or defended yourself, they felt victorious because your confusion was proof that their control was working. To them, your love was never sacred, it was leverage. They needed your empathy to sustain their ego, but they resented you for the power your compassion represented. This is one of the cruelest paradoxes of narcissism. They crave connection, yet they destroy it the moment they feel it's real. They can't tolerate true intimacy because it threatens to expose the emptiness inside them. You may have noticed the cracks early on, the way their tragic stories never quite added up, or how every relationship in their past seemed to end with them as the victim. Those tales weren't confessions, they were bait. Each story was designed to win your sympathy and deepen your attachment. By keeping you emotionally invested, they maintained control over how you saw them and over how you saw yourself. But something changed when you began to see the truth. Maybe you stopped reacting to their provocations or started questioning their inconsistencies. Whatever it was, they sensed it immediately. This is the moment psychologists describe as the onset of narcissistic injury, the panic and rage that arise when a narcissist feels exposed. You'll notice the sudden mood swings. One moment, charm. The next, cruelty. They might insult you, mock you, or try to pull you back in with fake apologies and promises to change. But none of it is real. It's all about regaining control. The only way to truly protect yourself is through emotional detachment. Psychologists often recommend the gray rock method. Become calm, boring, and impossible to provoke. Don't share your emotions. Don't try to reason with them. Don't seek closure, they'll never give it. Narcissists feed on reactions, whether it's your anger or your tears. The moment you stop providing that energy, their grip begins to weaken. Healing from a narcissistic relationship isn't just emotional, it's neurological. Your brain has been rewired to anticipate chaos, to seek validation from someone who only offers pain. Recovery means retraining your nervous system to find safety again, in silence, in solitude, in self-trust. Therapy, mindfulness, and healthy connections can all help rebuild what they tried to break. As trauma experts remind us, recovery begins when you stop asking, "Why did they do this to me?" and start realizing it was never about me at all. So what did the narcissist really want from you? Everything that made you human. Your warmth, your optimism, your belief in love. But here's the truth. They only wanted those things because they lacked them. They tried to steal what they could never create. And when you stop giving, when you finally see through the illusion, you become what they fear most, someone they can no longer control. Over time, their words lose their power. The chaos quiets. You start to remember who you were before them. Steady, grounded, enough. The narcissist shadow fades, and what remains is your light, your peace, and your freedom. And as every psychologist would tell you, that's the moment their power truly ends. Throughout the relationship, you were the glue holding everything together. You were the one calming the storms, smoothing over the arguments, and finding excuses for their anger. You tried to love them harder every time they hurt you, hoping that somehow love would be enough to fix what kept breaking. You poured your time, your heart, and your energy into keeping the relationship alive, until one day, you realized you were the only one fighting for it. Little by little, your world got smaller. Friends drifted away because they were tired of seeing you cry. Your health began to fade, your laughter dimmed, and your confidence, once so steady, started to disappear. What you didn't see back then was that this was never about partnership. The narcissist didn't want love, or balance, or peace. They wanted control, and they built it by making you dependent on them. Being with a narcissist is never a two-way exchange. It's a slow emotional drain, a one-sided transaction where you give everything and receive chaos in return. They feed on your kindness, your hope, your optimism, replacing it with manipulation, lies, and exhaustion. And the more you tried to prove your loyalty, the more powerful they felt. That's why no contact isn't just advice, it's a lifeline. It's the only way to detox from the poison they left behind. Behind every narcissist charm is a hidden plan. To test your boundaries, exploit your empathy, and see how much pain you'll tolerate before you finally break. Some go further, tying you down with children, money, or guilt. Others wage war in courtrooms, through custody battles or social circles, twisting truth into weapons. No matter the battlefield, their goal is always the same: domination through confusion and chaos. In the end, everything they did was transactional. Your love was never enough, not because it wasn't pure, but because they didn't know how to receive it. When you showed love, they grew colder. When you showed pain, they fed on it. Once they knew they had you emotionally hooked, they began the slow devaluation, mocking you, gaslighting you, and quietly searching for their next target. You were trying to fix what never truly existed. They were already lining up replacements. That's the cruel rhythm they live by. Lure, exploit, discard, repeat. But once you see the pattern, really see it, their power starts to crumble. Because awareness is the one thing they can't control. The moment you stop reacting, stop explaining, stop trying to prove your worth, their entire game falls apart. To a narcissist, people aren't human beings. They're resources, tools to extract energy from. And for those of us who feel deeply, the empaths, we become their favorite targets. If you're one of them, understand this: your empathy, your softness, your heart, that's what made you valuable to them. They won't find another you. They might move on quickly, but they'll only find cheap imitations, people as empty as they are. Real empathy is rare, and they know it. That's why they tried so hard to break you. Every cruel silence, every cryptic text, every game of emotional push and pull, it was all part of their unspoken experiment. How far can I push before they finally shatter? For narcissists, manipulation isn't just a habit, it's a way of life. They live in a loop of control, lies, and chaos. They know exactly what they're doing. They might pretend to change, quoting therapy terms, reading self-help books, or talking about growth, but it's all theater. Think back to those moments when calm conversations turned into shouting matches, when they twisted your words until you questioned your sanity. None of that was accidental. It was design. And here's the truth they'll never admit. They do know what they're doing. Every lie, every silent treatment, every smear campaign, they're all calculated moves. Behind their feigned innocence lies precision. They don't forget, they pretend to. They don't misunderstand, they manipulate. And when you finally catch them in the act, they crumble, not out of guilt, but out of fear of exposure. If you're still in contact with them, hear this with urgency: close the door. Completely. As long as there's even a crack open, they'll find a way back in. Narcissists never truly leave their sources. They just circle back when they sense weakness. A single text, a friendly check-in, even a like on social media, it's enough to restart the cycle. The only true freedom begins in silence. Boundaries are your armor now. So what did they really want from you? Everything. Your time, your money, your energy, your spirit. They wanted to drain you of every drop of life until there was nothing left but confusion and fatigue. But here's the beauty in all of this. Now that you see it, their power is gone. You were never weak. You were just too kind. You weren't complicit. You were conditioned. And awareness is the antidote. Healing begins the moment you stop romanticizing what was never real. You didn't choose wrong. You simply didn't know what hid behind their mask. You believed in love because you are love. You gave because that's who you are. The darkness wasn't yours, it was theirs. And now you're learning the most powerful truth of all. Your worth isn't measured by how much you can endure, but by how fiercely you protect your peace. Wherever you are right now, whether it's day 1 or year 3, know this, you are healing. You are reclaiming your voice, your boundaries, your light. One day soon, you'll look back and realize that every tear, every sleepless night, every moment of doubt was leading you here, to clarity, strength, and freedom. This is your rebirth, your comeback, your transformation. And as you rise, remember this unshakable truth. You were never the problem. You were the light that exposed their darkness.